The couple hired me as a nanny, but the one I was supposed to take care of was a realistic doll. During a conversation with the husband, I learned the truth. Their 3-month-old child had died recently in a tragedy that haunted every corner of their home. After a shopping trip on an unbearably hot day, his wife had carelessly shut the car door, completely forgetting their baby was still inside. She'd gone into the house, turned on the fan, and fallen asleep on the couch. She slept until sunset. Only when she saw the empty crib did she suddenly remember the baby was still in the car. The guilt drove her to the edge of madness. She broke completely. In desperation, the family brought in a realistic doll, and somehow, miraculously, she snapped back to normal, or at least her version of it. She treated the doll as if it were her living, breathing child. The husband stood there, struggling to explain this bizarre arrangement to me, but I quickly adapted to the situation. I announced that I was taking the baby for a walk, and despite his bewildered expression, I picked up the doll and headed out the door. The wife was a well-known television reporter, and this was her first day back at work since the birth. The moment she came home, she rushed straight to the nursery and began reading stories to the doll, then singing lullabies until it fell asleep. One day, when I needed to step out, I asked the husband to watch the baby for a while. He agreed without thinking. I'd barely been gone a few minutes when something impossible happened. A baby's cry crackled through the monitor on the table. He raced upstairs, and what he found defied all logic. The doll had transformed into a real, living infant. When his wife returned home, she showed no surprise whatsoever. In her mind, the baby had never died at all. The husband confronted me downstairs, demanding to know whose child this was. I looked him straight in the eye and said with absolute certainty, "This is your child, sir." Days later, I just dressed the baby in a yellow outfit when the husband snatched it away from me, berating me harshly. His panic told me everything I needed to know. There was something he wasn't telling me about how the baby really died. I began investigating what actually happened 3 months ago. The wife would often drift into these vacant states, as if pieces of her memory had been erased. The husband carried a permanent sadness in his eyes, clearly burdened by secrets. Only the wife's brother seemed relatively normal, so I decided he would be my wait-in. That evening, I pretended to have a date and asked him to watch the child. Shortly after I left, disaster struck. When crying echoed through the monitor, he rushed to the nursery, only to find the baby had reverted to the lifeless doll. Terror consumed him instantly. While he stood there in frantic confusion, I returned. Without saying a word, I picked up the doll from where it had been dropped on the floor. He demanded to know where the real child was, but I ignored him. In his fury, he grabbed the doll and threatened to throw it over the balcony.
5, 4, 3, I'm gonna fucking do it! 2, 1!
The instant his fingers released their grip, we both heard it, the unmistakable sound of a baby crying.